We are back for the second part of our shows tonight. If you are watching this one and you missed the first show tonight, it was a little eclectic, I think is the best way to say our first show was. The first 15 minutes we were talking about some personal things. So if you're watching the second show, you can bounce back, and we talked about some DJ things after about minute 13, 14, and then we got into our final segment, which is the building a set. And we had some great suggestions of songs to go with the set. You guys can go check that out if you didn't see it. For those of you who are in the chat, you guys were there with us, so thank you for following us over. Yay! It's great to see you. Dr. Dre he didn't do my surgery. Thanks, Jimmy.
Which one? There were two Dr. Dre's. Well, there are two Dr. Dre's.
I guess I don't know either of them.
Neither one of them are doctors.
And the one that
they call themselves doctor.
Yeah, it was a Dr. Schmidt who did. But anyway, we're going to keep. Yeah, this is our question and answer time, and we're going to do some Q&A, and then we're going to get into towards the end of this. I've got a bigger topic that we're going to dig into. And it was that one came from a chat board, and the question was asked overnight. And I figured that, between Brian and myself, we have been doing this since teen years,
dinosaur times.
We basically, I think we're both teenagers when we started.
I was 17 when I did my first wedding. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were both 17 when we started this and doing our thing. So we'll dig into that one. So some questions that we have. I'm going to jump into that. Let's see. I think one of them.
Your hair grew out, John. I just noticed that.
Yeah, I get my hair.
You're trying to be cool like me.
No, every 2 weeks I go on and my.
It looks good though with a little bit of hair up there. I like it.
2 week time frame. We start that. That's next week. So, where did I put these questions?
I love throwing them off. I'm so focused, and I just throw a curveball.
Exactly.
All screwed up and flustered.
First question,
yes, sir.
Offering discounts for special groups and such. And I think you and I have talked a little bit about this in the past of offering your services for groups. What are your thoughts and how do you handle it? Because we know the danger. If we offer it, everyone's going to ask for it.
Right. Do you believe in the group? I mean, I have a problem with groups personally, and this just goes beyond DJing. People want me to post things on my Facebook page about help this person or support the cause of this or that. And really, quite frankly, I've got a cause. I do have a cause, and I'm active in it. And that is stroke advocacy. That's what I do. I do videos on it. I have gone and done lectures on it at rehab facilities, at support groups and hospitals. That's my cause, and I'm just going to stick to it. So I don't know. I mean, how charitable are you, I guess? If this is a cause that you really believe in, fine. If this is something, don't feel obligated to do these causes. And nonprofit doesn't always mean that they're not making any money. Mm-hmm. Nonprofit doesn't mean that there's not money to pay you. That's just a tax title.
Yep.
Tax reasons. So I don't know. I that's up to you. I don't know that there's always a good residual from this.
And I think you mentioned earlier, I think you said something about a lot of the things we're seeing online with people who wanting donations for their different things. I mean, that's really come up a lot. Is that there's a GoFundMe is just become huge, and not that, and I don't think I'm belittling any of those. There's some need out there, and it's a wonderful thing when we can come together as a community to help, but. As you say, Brian, it can be overwhelming for the checkbook, if nothing else. Even though you're not doing events for these, it's just there's a lot of things out there, and you want to be able to go help here, and you want to be able to go help here, and there's a good friend of mine is out of work because of this, and another good friend is out of work and may be looking at having to leave the industry completely because he just can't lift anymore. Right. Another, I've got a couple of friends who aren't in the industry, but a couple of them that are suffering from different levels of cancer.
Sure.
I mean, there's always something out there, and it's really, first off, it can be overwhelming, and then of course you have as you mentioned, the larger, the Cancer Society and these different groups, which are wonderful groups, but there is money donated to these groups for, keeping the things going. Not everyone there is a volunteer. There are many volunteers, but it's something that there is money to put these events on and to help with that. And yes, you can donate some time. If you are passionate about it, please donate your time where you are passionate. But,
right. And I think that's key right there. I mean, if this is something that you believe in, by all means, if this is your cause, but you almost have to pick a cause. and they do it all the time. If you've seen the celebrity game shows, they're all playing for a different cause.
Mm-hmm.
We're playing for animal rescue, or we're playing for cancer research. And no one's right or wrong. They just have a cause. And what you might be able to do is choose your cause, and maybe that's what you personally believe in, and that's what you go ahead and dedicate your time to. But I wouldn't. You can't just give your stuff away to people. You can't.
And Ian asked, how can you tell if one cause is better than another? And I think that probably that's a tough one. And I can see on the national level where it's very, very difficult to know, is the this walk for this group or this walk for this thing. And I've been involved with the overnight walks and such for the cancer or whatever, the different groups. I don't do any of that anymore at that level where, and we do a lot within the DJ industry right now, and we do a lot of things helping those who are in need, short-term need. None of us can help someone for 5 years. But if someone has an immediate need, that's what we do. And generally, it's a direct to that person. It's not going to a bank account somewhere that they've set, whatever. It's people that we can help directly because I know where it's going, and I know it's going to go and help put food on a table for this family that who's his wife is now going through chemo because she was diagnosed with breast cancer. I can send them $200 that'll put groceries on the table for the kids for the month, and I'm happy to do it. And that's the kind of things what we do here. And as Buttery said, it's a personal decision where to go. But again,
it's like I tell my kid, because my kid is really involved in some charity work, and to the point where she's kind of neglecting her own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, I'm like, hey, kid, we can't save the world.
Yeah.
We got to save ourselves first. We got to take care of ourselves first. And once we're capable and able to take care of ourselves, then we can start thinking about saving the world and take care of others. But we're never going to save the world. It's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
All we can do is contribute where we can and do what we can and be supportive where we can, but only when we're in the position to do so. And if we're not in the position to do so, if you're walking to the store and it's Christmas time and you're having a hard time putting food on the table and they're ringing the bell, don't worry about it. I mean, forget about it. You got to take care of your family first and take care of yourself first before you throw anything in that little kettle.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me. That's.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. There's that little sermon, story about the church that was doing a collection, coming up to the holidays, and they were doing a collection to give to a poor family in a community. And the young lady talks that she and her family, they were excited that they were putting pennies away each week so that they could go and put that money into the kettle to give to some needy family. And they were doing all their different things. And it came time, and that night of the service, and everyone put their money and their things to go to that needy family. And then the next day, those gifts all show up at their household, and
they were the needy family.
They were the needy family, but yet they were willing to give, which is an admirable trait. But sometimes you need to take care of the family first, but
you absolutely do, and there's no shame in that. There is don't ever be ashamed, or don't ever feel bad or guilty that you can't do something. You do what you can do.
Yep.
Don't ever feel bad about it. Don't ever let anyone make you feel bad about it. Don't ever let anyone guilt you into doing anything that you should. I mean, come on, give me a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ian's got he's talking about the dollar here, dollar there, or a dollar to on his kid's dental program. I would 100%. It's your first priority is to take care of your family and take care of your kids, because let's face it, if we can't take care of our children now, they're going to become somebody else's problem some other day.
Yeah.
That's where then we can work our way out. And Jimmy Spin's mentioning tithing, that's all part of that giving nature that we have, as he mentions. But we have to make sure we're taking care of the basics. And I'm going to get a little biblical on you here with this. There's numerous stories in the Bible of the Old Testament, some of the stories that we refer to when we're teaching of spiritual leaders, or the leaders that are revered, who their family lives were crap, that their kids were causing problems, or there was different issues. And that happens an awful lot, because it's a case of where you would like to think that their family life was great, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
And that's where, we look at that and say, you know what, sometimes you need to start with the family, start here, taking care of this, and then you're even stronger because now you've got a basis in which to go out. And
Right.
if you overlook that, it's going to
You
be,
can't take care of anybody if you can't take care of yourself.
yeah, for sure.
And believe me, I know.
Twisted Mickey,
I've
well, I'm
been
gonna
there.
I'm gonna put that question, Twisted Mickey. I'll put that on there. That's a good question. So if you guys have got questions, by the way, just pop those
Throw 'em out.
in. I'll throw them out there and I'll copy those over. Next question: insurance. Where to buy it? DJ associations are the best spot, or what have you. You can find it locally. But the question, big one, was how much coverage should you get? Because generally there's the $1 million policies and there's the $2 million or more dollar policies.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on that, Brian?
Well, the ones that I've always participated in are the $2 million annually. And that's $1 million per incident, up to 2 incidents. What more can you want? Really, how bad can things really be getting for you? Where you need more than that. I've never had to use the insurance. Thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I think I don't know, John. You have thoughts on this? I don't know.
Yeah, the biggest thing, I guess, the way I would look at it is that is having that, like you said, the $2 million is a nice policy. I've had people asking, should I get a $3 million? Should I get a $4 million? If I'm running his Buttery's got a $2 million. If I'm running a 20 system multi company and I have an office or a building that I own, and I basically have $2 million, $3, $4, $5 million in assets and different things, my business is worth that. I would probably make sure my liability is high enough, because if the higher my risk, the greater chance that there's going to be someone out there who's going to try to find a way to get it from it. Brian, you and I, we don't have, we might have, we've got more money in music than we have in anything else we have. And that's no value to anyone. So the only thing they might come for is our houses. Well, and that's probably not going to happen, because in Minnesota, it's very difficult to sue a house off from under someone. So for you and I, a $2 million policy, which is only a few dollars more per year than a $1 million, is definitely the way to go.
It sounds good. You tell people, I'm insured.
Jason up in Canada, he's got a $2 million policy through the CDJA, which means that I think that is like $175 of coverage if he gets sued.
Or $175 covers you if you get.
That's
$175 annually, isn't it?
No. For them, because of the exchange, it's only covering like $175 worth of damage.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I'm being sarcastic.
But yeah.
No, they $105 a year though. That's crazy. That's crazy low. But then again, it's through the association up there. I think if I'm not mistaken, you can get the.
Oh, it's Canadian money. Yeah, it's like.
I was waiting for you to catch that.
Oh, yeah, I've been to Canada. It's awesome. It's like going to Australia.
It's like, oh, look at that big American dollar.
I feel so British.
I was just talking to somebody last night who was saying that there's a 30%. It's off 30%. So when they come down here to DJ Expo, everything's plus 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to the
exchange rates.
Asia.
Yeah, crazy. So yeah, they've got a nice insurance policy up there. I know NAME has, USDJA has, and ADJA. All three have. Travelers also is well known. I've heard
you
that.
Can do it through WeDJ.
Yeah, WeDJ has one. I'm trying to think of who else. There's quite a few. There's quite a few out there. They're all really somewhat similar. What really becomes the biggest difference in insurance is that some of them only cover DJ related things. So if it's something that you do within the realm of your DJ world, hanging lights up and putting things up and running cables, those types of things, speaker stands. But if I start hanging lighting over the floor or doing some, so maybe somebody hires me not to DJ, but to come in and do uplighting, that's not DJ related. So then I need to have a different insurance than I do if I am doing just that. Right. So those are different things you need to check out, because Drex and I had the conversation about that just to help you guys understand that a little bit more. And they cover, as long as I'm there DJing it can almost cover almost everything except hanging massive truss over the floor, which when you get a chance to hear some of the lawsuits and such that are going on, there's some things that some DJs are really not too bright. And they do really stupid things. And now, because of that, that's why our $175 policies we bought 5 years ago don't exist anymore. So, okay.
Yeah, let's do something that has nothing to do with money or business or something you should really ask your attorney about. That would be cool. a fun one.
Somebody was wondering if they should use an online planning tool for getting their wedding music from their couples, or would they be better off having them write something out because they're wanting to keep that list within something they can control. So should they use online planning tools for their songs from the wedding, or would it be better to write it out?
I don't use any online planning tools. I mean, I could, and a lot of people really believe in them, and they work really well for them. Personally, I don't. What you should do is what you're comfortable with and what you want to do. I do custom timelines for all my clients.
Mm-hmm.
I sit down and I talk to them. What do you want? What do you want to do? I don't want to bait them with anything. I want to give them ideas, but I don't want to bait them with any ideas. It's really up to you. It's a personal preference. If you are the kind of person who lives your life on your phone via the calendar and schedule things into your phone calendar and get alerts when you're supposed to do things, online planning is probably for you. But if you're the kind of person who does not do that, maybe you don't need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's all personal preference.
It really is, and it depends on, because you're going to attract a different client than I'm going to attract as when we meet and such. That you're going to have the people who connect with you maybe find that they like to have their handheld a little bit more when it comes to that, or may find that because I'm cold and calculating that they don't want to talk to me. They want to just send an email in with encryption so that they don't have to deal with me any more than they absolutely have. It can vary from couple to couple. So it's really something that I don't think there's a hard and fast rule either way. So
whatever you're comfortable with, do it.
Whatever and find out sometimes what I'm comfortable with and what they're comfortable with, that might be two different things. So whatever my priority, this is my, but you know what, let's do it your way. Jeez, what the heck is that big thing?
Saves me money, man.
Just buy it by the gallon there.
I do. I buy like 80 of these at a time. It saves me tons of money. My cafe mocha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's espresso. Chilled espresso.
Nice.
And I drink way too much of it, and that's why I'm up all night.
Yeah.
But I don't drink a lot of Coke anymore. So.
But then you can do some awesome videos. So that's what it's all about. Yeah. Would you pay referral fees to a venue?
No. A lot of people do. I don't. I just have fundamental problems with it. I have ethical problems with it, so I don't do it. But a lot of people do, and they do very well with it. Mm-hmm. I know people who do it and do very well with it.
And this is an area in which if I had a venue who would come up and say, you know what, John, I would give you, if you are, could you do a kickback and we will give you all the work you wanted. And if I could get it at the rate I wanted it to do, I would have no problem. There's my advertising budget. I'll put it right into their pockets. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Now, if it's some crap little shop that's in the back of nowhere and all of a sudden they come up after I've got the booking and says, hey, we sent him to you. Yeah, it's like, go pound pavement. I don't want to see
Well, it's funny because for me, I mean, and I've had this happen in the past. I haven't done it in a while, but if there's a caterer I like to work with, or a photographer, or a wedding planner, or anybody I like to work with, I like to just give the referral. Say, hey, I really like this person. I like working with them. I think they do a real solid job. I don't want anything for it. I just like working with them. Mm-hmm. If I were a venue and I had a DJ or any vendor who knew what I did, and so when they came to the hall, they knew what I was up to, I knew what they were up to, and we were able to work together, that would be valuable to me without any cash in hand, just so things ran smoothly. I think the kickback thing it's always under the table. It's a little shady. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't, I feel bad for the clients who buy into it, because it's not necessarily the best DJ. It's the DJ who's willing to put cash in the hand of the venue.
Yeah. Yep. Very much so.
So, I mean, ethically, I have an issue with it. I actually care about my clients. I care about the quality of service they get. I don't want them to get me just because somebody got paid for them to get me. I don't know. Is that weird?
No, it's not. It's not. There's the other side, and that is the moral dilemma I even have with it, is because if I'm getting the gig just because I'm on that very, very short list and highly recommended, what happens if we're not a good fit? What happens if, they
Right.
had someone who would be better for them? Or what
But they're
happens
going to
if,
push you because you're going to give them more money than the other guy.
yeah, exactly. And that definitely comes into it. It's just, it's one of those things that for the longest time I designed one of my shows to go so well in this venue with their timing and scheduling and such. We worked well together, and it was just a really nice match. And if they would have come up and said that we'll basically, do that, I would have been all over it.
Yeah.
As I sit today and not wanting to go and be as active in the industry, it's obviously kind of a moot point for me, but just to give you guys an idea that at one time, again, would have been all over it. Today, it's kind of beyond, not part of it.
Any questions that got nothing to do with money tonight?
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Was that
those
another
things.
money one? Yeah, I guess it was a money one. God.
Yeah, get rid of the money ones.
Okay. Attire for your gigs. They were talking about doing a casual event, and they're wondering if wearing shorts, dress shorts, would be something that could be worn.
Depends on the casual event. It's pretty vague. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. So do you think we can? How do you, when you are going? Do you dress the same with all of your weddings? We'll just talk weddings now.
well,
Or how do you?
I don't dress the same way I used to dress for weddings. And the reason I don't is because, quite frankly, not only can I not move very well in a button-down shirt with a tie on, but I can't even do a button-down shirt very well. And I can't do a tie. And even if I could, if I have to go to the bathroom, I can't tuck it back in properly by myself with one hand. So now I've changed my outfit a little bit. If you've ever seen my picture on my YouTube channel or even on my Facebook fan page, that's what I wear. It's kind of a collared shirt, and it could be a polo, it could be a long sleeve, and then I put a vest on top of that, and then I wear some like khaki pants. I can move well like that.
Yep.
I can put those things on. They can see that I'm not part of the wedding party. They can see that I'm not a waiter or a bus boy or whatever. They can see I'm a little different, but I think it's still appropriate. But my situation is unique, so I'm not really one to talk about it. I was never one for getting dressed up for a wedding, though. And when I see these pictures of these DJ companies or these DJ organizations, when they're all sitting there smiling and they're wearing a suit, it's like, what is this, an insurance salesman convention? It doesn't say DJ to me at all. This is a bunch of stiff guys. I don't want, that's just my first impression of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely doesn't.
I've never been for that.
Yeah, definitely doesn't give you the DJ going out there and mixing and doing that at that level. Wedding, the wedding coordinator or the wedding the MC of a wedding. Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like.
The way that they used to do it back in the day, and I know what it was. I say I did my first wedding at 17. I was an assistant, and I was working for this big DJ company. I worked with a lot of people and finally kind of came into my own, but they used to have us wear like, it was like a jacket, shirt and tie. And then they switched over to tuxedo. Yep. Where it was like a tuxedo shirt and a tuxedo bow tie. And I think that their way of thinking was, you can't screw up a tuxedo. Mm-hmm. If we're all wearing the same tux shirt and the same bow tie and cummerbund or whatever and black pants, you can't screw that outfit up. You can't show up, looking like a used car salesman if you do that. But if you know how to dress and you know how to come in and look the part and not look ridiculous, I think you're okay. I don't know. Neat is always good. Fun is always good, but you don't want to be out of place. And most of the weddings these days, what I wear is perfectly fine. Yeah, for sure. So when you've got kind of your style and such, that's definitely the way to go. My rule of thumb, if I've got a wedding which is semi-unusual, if I under a tent, what have you, or it's going to be in the barn, I try to find out how the groom and groomsmen are going to dress. If they're going to go a tuxedo, I want to dress just kind of a step down from that. If they're going to be wearing a tie and a jacket, then I'm going to go a step down from that. So that might mean that I'm just going to be in a nice button-down shirt and going that route. Mm. If they're in a button-down shirt, then I'm probably going to go polo, because the thing I hate the most is when I'm mistaken for one of the wedding party because, oh, you're in a tuxedo just like that. Yeah, or the magician. Or whatever, or the staff. When you mentioned the shirt and the bow tie,
There was the local Holiday Inn. That's what they did. And whenever we would send someone to that, because again, at the time, we had the gals when they're in the tuxedo shirts and the guys at the bow ties, and they looked good, but they would get there and they would look just like the wait staff. So then that's when we started to transition into, okay, can we do cummerbunds? Can we do vests? Because they don't do that. Or do we change color of the tie? And then that's when we started doing the black, the gals did the black blazers, which they actually appreciated because then they could kind of look a little bit more presentable, and so they could get away from the bow tie and went with a black blazer. Over
I'm surprised people weren't throwing me their car keys to valet back in those days.
Yeah.
I kind of looked like the valet. I was young. It kind of looked very awkward in my clothing. Definitely wasn't the James Bond look that they advocate for us to kind of have that be prepared, cool look. It was more the dork, uncomfortable in the wrong clothing look. That's how I always felt. So, and I can move better, and I have to be as physical as possible at these gigs. The better I can move, the more entertaining it can be. So, I don't know.
Okay, next question. This one was actually put up a little bit earlier in our second show here. After your stroke, did you ever think you'd DJ again?
Yeah, I knew I'd DJ again. I just didn't know if I'd be able to do it by myself. It was one of the things I knew I could do because I could still hear. I couldn't see. I wasn't exactly sure of all the mechanical logistics of it, but I mean, I could still program. I could still, put sets together. So yeah, I figured I'd DJ. I just didn't know if I'd be doing it by myself.
Mm-hmm.
If I came out of the ICU alive, I figured I'd DJ again.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I did. Did I ever think I was going to do it by myself again? I didn't think so. And it turns out that, and it's funny because, the first summer, I went ahead and took the gigs that were on the book. I didn't take any new ones, but I had a lot of people helping me. And I was so frustrated with that whole situation because no one cares as much about your gig than you do.
Yep.
I mean, if you've booked it and you're really into this is something that's a big deal to you. You get there on time, you put on a great performance, all of these things. But if you're just helping a guy and you're getting maybe $150 to do that, yeah, you'll oversleep. Yeah, you'll go out the night before and get in a fight or whatever. And I didn't have people I could depend on to go on these gigs with me. It was getting really frustrating. So I was like, and I remember making a video. How can I do this by myself? Anybody got any ideas? And everybody shot me down. Everybody's like, dude, you can't do that. You're pushing too hard. What are you doing? Get some helpers, blah, blah, blah. And I figured it out. I did figure it out. And I've inspired others to do it who have, physical conditions that maybe they thought they couldn't do this anymore. They're getting older, or they have arthritis, or they have a bad back, or whatever.
Mm-hmm. It's
possible. So a lot of it's, if I would have just given up, I'd still be sitting here whining and crying and probably ask you to, go fund me for something. But I didn't do that. I'm a damn soldier. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did it. Did I think I could do it yet? I didn't know at what level, but I figured I could do it. Yeah.
Cool. Just checking. I had to do a refresh here, gang, on the video. So, okay. Next question. This is one that getting rid of the crap. He's got 3,000 CDs, 2,000 cassettes, and what the hell do I do with those things? My wife wants me to get rid of them. This is, I think, the for those of you who are younger, this is the problem for us, our generation of DJs, is that. I guess I can't get to see it from here. I've got a closet that is a 6-foot wide closet, floor to ceiling, stacked with just CDs that are pressed CDs or real CDs, not CDRs, but real CDs that I have purchased from music services. Then I have another shelf over here somewhere that is just the purchase that we have picked up from over the years. So what do you do with them, Brian?
Well, I'm not one to talk. You might have a look over my shoulder here. Got a couple records over there. I've got about half that much in storage that you're not looking at. Plus, I have a CD collection as well.
Howie, get rid of the wife.
Howie,
dude, you must have a good right hand. I'm just saying, man.
Howie, you are so on to something. And I did. And now I don't have the problem. You get, I don't know, man. Jesus, what do you do with them? I don't know. What do you want to do with them? Do you
Yeah,
want to keep them? You know, fight for your right to party, man. If you don't want them, rip them and ditch them. I don't know.
and that's the thing is it's a tough thing because they say that if we ever get licensing, you're going to and maybe our Canadian friends could talk. Jason mentioned rent to storage unit, but if what they're telling us is that if we ever get licensing in the U.S., we're going to have to be able to show the originals.
Yeah. So this is what you do. You make a video that's like 5 days long of every individual CD that you have, and then you do this right in front of this big trash compactor, and you put them in the trash compactor and you crush them. You show that on video. So if anybody ever asks you, I did own them and I destroyed them. I have
Jason,
a video to prove it, and all you have to do is watch it for like 5 days. You can pick every little song off there that you want to. Go ahead, take your time and do that.
they're all there.
See, I'm a jerk like that. That's what I would do.
Under Canadian rules, if you have a digital copy, it came from physical media, you need to have access to that physical media. So that's why he mentioned the storage shed and like you have.
Got an attic?
Oh, God, that would just...
Got a basement?
Yeah. And then, of course, after a while, there was deterioration of some of those things. Yeah.
Presumably. I mean, I heard that they were going to deteriorate from the inside out in 25 years. Well, I've got CDs older than that, and they're fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some CDRs did that within 6 months.
Really?
I've got some CDRs
that the peeling or what? Yeah.
Yeah, I've got some that have, with some of the early ones that we were paying $6 and $7 a piece for, that are still. I actually found a song the other day on one of those that it's like, I haven't seen this song. It was like from Hot Hits, I think, is the company that was producing some, and it was a country remix thing. And
the Dancing Country.
Yeah, the Dancing Country.
I remember that was a good one.
There was a song on there that I hadn't ripped, and it was on that one. So, okay. Well, I think what we're going to do now we're going to get away from the small questions. We're going to go into those
are the small ones?
Yeah, those are the small ones. Now, but this is getting in we're getting back into some money stuff here a little bit. So I know you're going to hate this one.
I hate this stuff.
The scenario is this DJ in their market is charging between $300 and $600 for their events. They're doing a lot of events each year, and running a pretty nice little business. But they are, by the time they figure out their expenses and such, they're just not making enough, and they want to try to move up, raise their prices and such, and not kill their business. And I thought that would be a great kind of topic for you and I to kind of just share some thoughts on. Because we've done things like this. I mean, at one time we were just like everyone else. We were the cheap guys, and there's ways to do it. I mean, Drax and I've done shows on how to do this, and there's a lot of theories on that. And I know I was reading through some of the comments and such, and you can see some of the comments from people who are giving a very passive approach. Some are giving a more of an aggressive approach. Some are giving more of a I don't want to. They were going from the angle of fear, as opposed to they're afraid to lose business. They're afraid to do anything. So they're going to be basically saying, "Gosh, I'm going to raise it $50 if that's okay with you," kind of a thing, compared to coming from a point of confidence and saying, "I am worth it." And I think that's the part I want to really talk about is how a DJ can make themselves more valuable and be worth more.
I think for someone to just say to a client, "Hey, I'm worth more than $600," the client may disagree with you.
Yep.
That's just it. Whenever you're picking a number out of thin air, it's very hard to defend it. So I don't do that anymore. I don't think to myself, how much or how little can I get out of these people, and how much can I accept before it's not worth it. I mean, how little can I accept before it's not worth it? So what I do is I actually have a little business plan, believe it or not, where I break it all down for them. So I'll say to the client, yeah, $1,200. And they'll say, why so much? And I'll say, okay, well, let's break it down for you. Most of the time when you rent AV equipment, it's going to be somewhere between, and it is because I've worked in AV, Somewhere between 15 and 20% of the retail price is what you're going to pay for a rental fee. I don't do that. I only charge 5%. So that's a value. Now, 5% of my total equipment value is $350. Okay. Okay, so there's $350 for you. Now, we had a meeting. That was an hour of my time. That was gas. That's going to cost you, I don't know, let's say $100 between, gas and my time. So that's $450. Now we have to talk about all my other business expenses. We have to talk about my vehicle expenses, just in general, back and forth to the gig. Setup time. We also have to consider anybody who I have to bring in to help. If I need help, I got to pay them their payroll. Office expenses, internet, phone, all of these things. You put that all together, and I don't know, usually looking at about $700-800. And then I got to pay myself. And I'm like, oh, okay. So if you have a business plan, a real business plan, and you can present this to them, then they tend to get it. You got to break that price down so they know it's just not a price you picked out of thin air. That's how I handle it. That's easy. If you see yourself worth $1,000 after expenses, then that's what you let them know. But I mean, if you can really build those, make those business plans make sense and present them in a way where, they seem to get it. They seem to understand. And you're not just trying to take them for a ride. There's a reason it costs this much. I don't know. And then I also explained to them how much time I'm actually putting into putting their event together.
Yep.
It's not just the event. The day of is a 12-hour day easily. And then we're talking about probably a good 30 hours in planning, phone conversations, meetings, all of these things. It's a full-time gig. So, whatever I'm paying myself, isn't what they would consider a good 40-hour-a-week income.
Yeah.
I'm still making out because I'm making out on the rental. I'm making out on other things. But it doesn't matter. It's a business plan that makes sense. You got to break these prices down. When you go picking prices out of thin air, that's when you screw yourself. That's when the client doesn't get it and they say, hey, this is bullshit. This is not real. This guy's just trying to take me for a ride. Give them a real solid business plan. Break it down. And I think you'll be legit. I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, I definitely, that's great advice for someone who's looking to that, because you now have shown the value that they're going to be investing in that. And then from there, you can build in, the benefits of what they're going to get for having this and that, and where your experience can come in and show more worth and such.
You explain to them that, hey, this rental fee here, this is my cost. And on my business plan, it actually is. Mm-hmm. That's my cost. It's costing me this much money to do this for you. The music fee, whatever your music is, divide that by how many, whatever you pay for music, divided by how many gigs you do a year. That's your music fee. That's your cost. And tell the client that this is my cost. I'm not inflating this price. I'm not jacking this up. This is my cost. This is what it's costing me to be there. This is what a tank of gas costs. This is what a set of tires costs. This is what a tune-up costs. We average all this out. This is my cost on it. This is what it's costing me to be there. I do this with photo booth. They're like, well, how come why can't you do the photo booth for $250? I'm like, you got to understand, I got $150 in media. Mm-hmm. I mean, and your album and the props, what am I going to do? And then I got to put gas on the car and go there. What am I going to do? Go there for $5? It doesn't work. And anyone who's doing a photo booth for $295, they're robbing themselves. They're not making money. They're just trying to get work. They're not making dough. And then the question always comes up, well, how come Bob down the road can do it for $500 and you're charging $1,200? And I just look at him and say, I don't know how Bob does it. I don't know what Bob's thinking, but this is my business plan. And this is why it costs this much. And these are where the numbers are coming from. These are real numbers. Mm-hmm. They get it. So
yeah, they definitely do. Definitely do. And that's an important aspect of it is trying to help them understand. Now, sometimes you don't even get to that point of a meeting, and that, as we've talked about, not in the chat, somebody mentioned earlier, not every client is going to be your client. But the people who like what you do, and they like that, when you get to the point of talking dollars, which usually happens sometimes down into the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You can definitely dig
But
into
give
that.
me a real breakdown. I mean, what I said was just off the top of my head. I'm tired, but I really do have this stuff written down. I do, and if anybody asks, I can pull it out. I can show it to them.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is. This is what it costs me to do every event that I do. And then if there's extras thrown in there that they want, I'll explain. You remember you wanted that other thing? It cost me that much. That's how much it costs. And then I get batteries for the wireless microphones, and I had to get this. I did music updates. Oh God, it just goes on and on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you tell them, okay, yeah, you want backup? We got backup, but guess what? Backup costs money. My computer costs $1,500. If I got 2 of them, it costs $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. You're paying for that. The service you're paying for. I don't know. It's just be smart about it. Think about what you're spending on this stuff, and think about and then what you're worth and what you have to make out of every gig. And there's your price.
Yeah.
That's just your price, no matter who you are. That's your price. Even if you suck at this, it costs you this much to be there, and you need to get paid this much to be there.
For sure.
Easy stuff.
And
really.
that your cost, there's the area now, says they're talking about raising, okay, so I want to raise my prices. So we figured out the basic, and it's going to be, let's say 750 is what your hard costs, we'll call it. Now you're going to need to have your pay and your profit and such, because you are doing a business, and businesses are meant to be profitable. This is the area in which you can now work and show those and say, okay, so this is, I want to make $500 off a show for me to do it. And then the business profit needs to be 10%, 20%, whatever it is. And you've got these numbers. Well, as you continue on, so for this year, maybe this is your goal, is the 750 plus the 500 plus another 10%, whatever it is. Now for the next year, maybe I want to do these similar numbers, but maybe I want to make a 20% profit. And you're building or raising your prices as you go. That's kind of how you can do it. Now, the thing is to know how quickly to raise price is probably one of the most difficult things that DJs have. Because some guys are wanting to jump to that weird number, as you were saying, which now we're going to just assume that you guys are having real behind. You've got some hard information on your numbers. Do you go up $50? Do you go up $100? And I think probably this is one of the things I think Drax presented in one of our shows that was probably the most some of the best information I've ever heard from Drax. And I've heard some pretty good things from Drax, and I've heard some things I've heard some things that were out in left field from Drax. But when he talks about, you take the number of dates that you want to work, and we'll use my example. I'm only going to do about 20 dates this year. So in order to know if I'm to the point where I can raise my prices from year to year, I need to be basically able to fill 80% of those 20 dates. Or if you're going to be doing 50, 80%. When you hit that 80 percentile and you're able to book 80% of those dates, that means that you are in a comfortable spot to be able to move your prices up. If you're booking 100% of the dates you want to work, then you definitely can give yourself a bigger profit, because there's obviously room there. That 80%. Now, if you're only able to book half of your dates, there's probably something wrong. Whether you're not showing them the breakdowns well, or you're not explaining things, or you're not offering them enough value, so they're like, yeah, you're just another DJ who's playing music. Whatever it is, there's something wrong with the process if you're falling below 50% of the book, the people you meet and book. But that's just to keep that in mind as you guys are going through.
And my thing is, I mean, I've done this. I'm not afraid to say no to people anymore. I'm not afraid to say no. I mean, it's a gig. Oh my God, I have to take it. It all means necessary. Oh, it's too much. I got to discount it. No, I was like, I can't help you. I'm so sorry, but I can't do that. I'm not afraid to say no. If it goes into a realm where I'm breaking even, or it's costing me money to be there, hell no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one that just irks me. Is the when I, in essence, when you look at it, I end up having to pay to be there.
It works out that way so many times.
I hate that. Somebody asked, NC8 aided? Anyway, asked the question, has anyone agreed to I don't want to do it price? Because we've all done that, where someone's called and said, hey, I've got this show, and can you come and do it?
Yeah, I'll do it for $5,000. That's my New Year's. There is a place I do a New Year's that I'm totally cool with, and they do pay well. But yeah, if somebody asked me to do like a wedding on New Year's, I'd be like, yeah, I'll do it for $5,000. Yeah. And now my I don't want to do it prices are definitely no, I don't want to do it.
And that's something I've had to learn, because I've done the don't want to do it prices when I get somebody calling and saying, hey, we're having a backyard party, that's 2 miles from your house. And it's like, oh, it's outdoor, it's summer. I know I don't have to take much of a sound. I wouldn't have to take much of a sound. I don't really want to do it. Well, how many hours? 3 hours? Yeah. I'll do it for 800. I'd do it for $800, figuring that, every DJ around here is going to do it for 250.
Right. You're hired.
You're hired.
Shit.
Yeah. I've done that one a few times. When you guys get to see a video where I'm doing something in the my backyard with speakers and such, that's what that is. So yeah,
it's my favorite question tonight. What's the best way to do marketing? It's like, how do you do open heart surgery? What's the best way to do it? That is like the $1 million question. Marketing is what it's a big deal, and the best way to do marketing is just, I don't know. Let's just start by just being a kick-ass DJ and having some business cards and make sure everybody who says you're a kick-ass DJ gets a business card or two.
And I think that goes back to and it is one of the issues that when we had the Worth tour and everything was going through, and all the guys with the suits at the conventions were getting together, and they're talking that if you're doing $500 gigs, if you do 20, oh, got to go higher. Let's go. If you're doing 40 $500 gigs, if you double your price and do $20,000 gigs, you're making the same money, but you're working half as much. The part of this equation, and it failed for a lot of DJs, and why there's some DJs who jumped on that bandwagon and are no longer with us, is that they did that, and they booked the 20 events, and then they like, woohoo, I made the same money. I'm going to jump it to 1,500, and now they're down to doing like 12 events. Before long, you're not seen enough to continue. What's the best marketing? The best marketing is, as Brian said, to get in front of people and basically kick ass and show that you are different than the other DJs that they have seen. Think of it as a snowball going downhill. If the hill is nice, the snowball will build, but most of the time through attrition and the rocks going down the hill, it'll break apart and things. That's what happens, is that you're not building as you're you're getting fewer and fewer gigs. As you start getting fewer and fewer gigs, the people seeing you, there's few there. And you basically, we're going down to the point where eventually you just run yourself out of business.
There's a story that you hear, and I never personally saw it. Well, I kind of did a little bit, but I did sell cars for a minute when I didn't know what else to do with my time, and I was not doing anything. I sold cars. Mm-hmm. And they talk like, when you first get into the car business, you're hungry, you're out there, you're being aggressive, you're talking to everybody, you're doing all these things. And there's always that old guy sitting in the desk. He don't do shit, but people are just walking up to him every day buying a Cadillac off of him because he's been in the business for 50 years and he's their Cadillac dealer, and they buy a new Cadillac every year. That's what he does. Yeah. Because he's got the client base. As a DJ, you can do the same thing. As a DJ, you can have that client base. I've got people on my Facebook feed that there's Pat and Kelly Murphy. Kelly Murphy's on my Facebook. Mm-hmm. I've known Kelly Murphy. I met her on our wedding day. I was the substitute DJ that came in 1994, 95. I did her kid's graduation party last year. Kelly's my friend. I mean, I've gotten a lot of work from Kelly. There's a guy, Dan Holmes. He made a dodgy comment in one of my videos on Facebook, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, this guy's a jerk." Well, yeah, I guess he kind of is, but he's my friend. He's the one who talked me into starting a DJ company. I'm washing my car one day, and I get a phone call. And it's Dan, and he says, "Hey, I'm getting married. You should do my wedding." And I said, "Dan, I don't do that anymore. I'm a nightclub DJ. But you should go out and buy some equipment and just do my wedding, dude. You're the one who want to do my wedding. You've always been the DJ." Mm-hmm. I was like, "Yeah, well, let me think about it." So I got off the phone, and my mom said, "Who's that?" I said, "Dan wanted me to DJ his wedding." "You should go buy the stuff and do his wedding. Here's a $2,000 credit card for you. Go do it. Pay me back." Dan got me started in the business. I've done parties for Dan's family. I've worked in Dan's bar several times as a DJ. I've gotten a lot of work from Dan. So you get this client base, and you can do this repeat work. And then you just take that. They love you. They're going to refer everybody. It takes time to break in. And if you're on top of things, you can keep those clients forever. Yeah. I'm teaching a wedding in October. I DJ'd this guy's mother's wedding around the same time I DJ'd Pat and Kelly's wedding. So I'm on to the next generation. You know, and maybe I'll do their kid's wedding in 25 years. Probably will. Just how it works. You got to build those client bases, man. It's a get in front of people, let them know who you are, let them know that you're good at what you do. Be approachable. Be the person they think about when they think DJ, or when anyone they say, "Hey, oh, my daughter's getting married. Oh, I got the DJ for you. Don't worry about that. Just call Brian." It works like that. It really, really works like that. That's the best marketing. So to answer your question,
For sure.
in my opinion, which is just my opinion.
Okay. Our last one, which was I think it was shared in the first video. One of the problems they mentioned, the problem where their biggest problem is that other DJs in their market are trying to undercut the price on their weekly gigs, which I'm assuming are bar type gigs. What's some thoughts on that? How they can solidify their bar gig, or they can keep that position, or they can deal with that so they're not having that issue.
Well, I know sometimes, and I've been in this situation where I've worked someplace and all of a sudden they say, well, we're going to do something different.
Yep. That's where I wanted to go. Yeah. Mention that.
And they do. And sometimes it works out, or sometimes I get a call in a couple of weeks saying, hey, you know what? That thing we wanted to do didn't work out too well. So sometimes you got to hang tight. Stand your ground. I mean, if you're charging an astronomical fee, I mean, but it's all business. I mean, if something costs you $300 every Saturday, and then you see an opportunity to cut that price in half, it's good business to do it. It looks good on paper. Now, whether that's going to translate well to the service being good, or your evening, the I guess the residuals from spending the money, if it's less, then doesn't make sense. But yeah, I don't know.
And it depends a little bit on what type of performance they're looking for. I've been in some venues where they wanted it to be very personality driven. So in that particular venue, I was able to get on the microphone, do more things, engage the crowd, so that kind of like, when we were making comments to you guys in the chat room, is that the people in the room felt like they were part of the show, part of the family, which helped to build that sense of community. That venue, it was a lot easier to, when people would come in and say, hey, John's charging you $375 a night. I can do it for half that. Well, because the people were coming in because they felt they were part of the family, that gave me value. It wasn't just somebody playing music. Now, there's been venues that they will switch DJs about every 9 months. The DJ could be killer, but just as you said, they want to try something different.
They want to freshen it up.
Yeah, and it might not even be a money thing, that they're just wanting to freshen it up. So it's a tough area to really try to base a long-term income on. I mean, we were a house DJ for 10 years, and that's unheard of.
It is. I did it. I did it for 7. I left on my terms, and they were begging me to stay. And I really missed that gig, but I'm glad I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah. 7 years is way. I mean, most people they can get about 16 months out of it. That's in our area. We're kind of a vacation area. We've got lakes and such where there's people coming up, and sometimes I like to see the same DJ. Sometimes they want to see, hey, it's fresh. What's new this season? Oh, they've got a new DJ. Yay.
I think as a DJ, when you're playing the same venue over and over again, it's very important to keep it fresh. It's very important not to do the same set every week, for 52 weeks a year. You got to mix it up. You have to. Otherwise you get stale. And then the bar staff's like, can I listen to this again?
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's going to play this song again. Oh my God.
I know what he's going to play next.
Whenever I work, and I'm sure it's not over, I'll work another club before I'm dead. But there's going to be a situation where I'm going to walk into an establishment and I'm not going to know anybody. There's going to be a bar manager. There's going to be a general manager. There's going to be bartenders. There's going to be wait staff. There's going to be all of these people. My job, and from experience, I've learned this. I get to know everybody. I got to be cool with everybody. Yeah. And I got to find out what they like. I got to find out what they don't like. And I'm going to take care of them as well as the clients that come into the bar. Make sure they're on my side at all times. And if I can do that, then I can stay. I know I can stay, and I know they're going to get pissed when someone comes in and subs because they're not going to take care of them like I took care of them.
Yeah, for sure. And that's
And
an important part.
The last club gig I did, I mean, I was in my late 30s, and it was a lot of young girls at the bar, and they were very attractive, and they liked to party.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately, it's like, you can call me Uncle Brian. I wanted to make myself somebody who they weren't even thinking about when it came to that kind of crap.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one you come to when you got a problem. I'm the one you come to when your boyfriend shit on you or whatever. I'm not the one you come to look for the boyfriend.
Yeah.
No, I'm Uncle Brian. I'm here to help you. I'm your friend. Don't even think of me that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and establish myself as more of, that guy. And it was wonderful. It was, they loved me, and they couldn't win. Other people would come in, they get mad. Oh, we don't want Brian back. To this day, if I walked in there today, if the same people are still working there, they'd be so happy that Uncle Brian was back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's the bar and club business is a weird one.
It's tough. A tough world.
I have like a PhD in this crap, and I wish I didn't sometimes.
Okay, we had one more question, and then we'll throw this one in there. Because is there any song you would never play again?
Is there a song I'll never play again?
Yes, that you would never play. You played
that I would never play?
Yeah.
Oh, John, I don't know. Is there a song you'd never play?
I was been thinking about it since I saw it come up, and I don't, like, yes, I have my background as a youth pastor, and yes, but you know what? There's some pretty nasty songs that Prince did that I would spin.
Oh, I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't care.
I mean, I'm not going to be a prude when it comes to that.
Now that's just, those are staples now.
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything that I would never play.
Oh, did it have to do with content? Is that what they're talking about, or just
just a song you wouldn't play? So there, We Are Family, Celebration was thrown out there. I
still play that song.
If it works for the crowd, I look at maybe I'm jaded, what have you, but I look at music as this is my music is money, and if I don't play money songs, that's going to limit future referrals and exposure, what have you. Weddings, I do weddings, and they're not there to break new music. They're not there to show that I can play everything but disco. I mean, I'm going to play disco. If they want old time, we were talking Myron Florin earlier.
Yes.
We have played that, and there have been nights where I think back when I first started, there were nights where we would play 20 to 30 old time songs
easily,
because that's what was wanted at that time.
Yeah. Going way back. Is there are there songs, John, just out of curiosity, that when you first heard them and you had to play them, you just didn't like them and you resented them, but you've come to like love them, or you like them?
No, not really. There's some artists that I just don't have the time of day for. And I really I don't know why per se, but like Tom Petty's one, I just do not like his music.
I kind of like Refugee and stuff, but not for dancing. Yeah. But I don't really get him either. I don't get you too.
Yeah, they're another one. I just
I don't get it. I just started to get Bruce Springsteen. I mean, beyond Born to Run and Hungry Heart, I just started to get it, but I'm not like full on board where I want to sit through a concert for 4 hours.
Yeah.
But the one song that I remember playing in the club, people kept asking for, and I hated it. And I just, every time I had to play it, I get mad. And I learned to like love it and embrace it to this day. But when it first came out, I just wanted it to go away. Baby Got Back, Sir Mix-a-Lot. I wanted that song to go away so bad. And I think the part that bothered me the most was the line, turn around, stick it out, even white boys got to shout. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't have to do anything.
Leave me alone.
I don't have to do anything. Shut up. I don't know why that bothered me. But now I love the song. I have the Richard Cheese version I play. I can't wait to play it at a gig. It gets a great reaction. But for some reason, when I first heard that tune, I just hated it. And now I love it. Now I don't love it. I don't listen to it in my spare time, but I enjoy playing it when I'm performing because it gets a nice reaction.
Yeah. A couple of others. Jimmy agrees with you, Bruce Springsteen. I think Jimmy's just feeling guilty because he was bashing us earlier, so he's going to agree to anything. It's his time, He's it's kind of like the hard love. He comes in, he's cranky, and he does his thing.
No, I'm sure he doesn't get Bruce. A lot of people don't get Bruce. I mean, I've finally started to kind of understand him and think, hey, he's kind of a cool guy. I had a situation. I mean, I'm a fan of the band Chicago. I really enjoy the old stuff, Chicago Transit Authority, Terry Kath, Peter Cetera, the old stuff. And I always kind of had this thing where I had a problem with Peter Cetera. I just thought he was a jerk, and I don't know why. I thought he was. And I saw an interview with him maybe a year ago, and he was the coolest guy, and I felt guilty for thinking he was a jerk for all those years. So now I like Peter Cetera, and I don't know. It just
They're talking Panda. Did you see Nick Hahn's?
Yeah, Nick Hahn was talking about that earlier
That
today.
was great. It's so nice that they make a song about an endangered species. If you guys aren't friends with Nick Hahn, you just go follow him because sometimes he puts up some pretty cool stuff.
Nick James Hahn, yeah, he is the big guy at Promo Only right now.
Yeah, and you gotta if you go find his if you're not a friend, go follow his page. Scroll down and find the Ghostbusters song that they just posted up today. It's a SoundCloud, but his wife Britt did it. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to it.
I didn't.
It's really good. You got to listen to it because she's doing kind of this almost.
Is it in the movie?
No, it wasn't chosen. They did,
Okay.
but it's really good, and she's got kind of this almost like a jazz a backroom singer kind of thing going on from the 20s and such. It's really cool. You guys need to go check it out. Britt is a very talented singer. I don't know, how Nick got lucky enough to land a woman with that kind of skill.
Nick's a pretty cool guy. I mean, I've had conversations with people before, and so when you go to DJ conventions, you see a lot of weird dudes. If there's like one like really nice looking guy that looked almost like a normal guy walking around, it'd be Nick Hahn.
Yeah, he is.
He's like a pretty boy with a nice looking guy. Maybe you'd see him in a movie or something. Everybody else looks like a bunch of Trekkies.
Yeah.
Too fat, too tall, too old, too young, too bald, too much hair. Just goofballs.
You could just
and
keep
then
hitting it.
Nick, he's like, the cool guy.
Yeah,
Hey, I'm
he's
Hahn.
Because I think he's age wise. I think he's in our age group, but he's again that
oh yeah,
keeps himself in good
Texas
shape
boy
and such. And he goes out and he's hot in the clubs yet down there.
I hate him just because he's so good looking.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
I love the guy.
Good guy. So anyway, if you guys get there's a music tip of songs that you would probably never play, but it's a really good song. So. Brian, we're going to wrap things up. We managed to go an hour. So much for our half-hour time frame. Hopefully, you guys had a good time with our Q&A tonight. You picked up a couple of thoughts on helping your business and such in our little ramblings tonight. If you have any questions or anything, please put them. I've got a couple of questions, actually, I'm going to use for next week that you guys had that I don't think you guys really had them as questions, but they were great topic starters. Next week. Otherwise, put those in the comments below the video, not on the right side, because the ones on the right side will be going away, and I can't find them after we're done here. So, we'll see you guys. Actually, Brian, I think we're going to be in 2 weeks. We've got 4th of July. Yeah, we're going to take next week off and kind of get ourselves all fireworked up and, let the burned fingers heal from the fireworks and be back on the 12th.
Right on.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the 12th. Good night, everyone.
Good night.